What's happening, guys? This is Mike's Sword Dragon channel. There had been a whole lot of acclaim for Dennis Camp's Assorted Crisis Events, and I had picked up the first issue before, and it didn't grab me, and I picked up the second issue, and it didn't grab me, so I had kind of said to myself, I'm done with this book. I don't get it. I don't see what the hype is, So I decided to pick up issues 1, issues 3, 4, and 5. And I decided that I would give it one more shot to see how it is and see if I could get what all the hype and all the acclaim was about it. Issue 1 still did not grab me this time. It didn't do anything for me at all. Now, that being said, issue 4 I felt was incredibly strong. I really enjoyed this issue here. This issue is basically told about a guy who feels like his years are flying by him incredibly fast. He is losing track of time. Things move so fast. Days become months. Months become years at his job, in his personal life, with his health and everything. And it's a pretty strong story, especially if you are someone who is... it really resonates with you. As someone like myself who is older, I do feel time flies by incredibly fast right now. I'm coming up on my 20th anniversary at my job, and it feels just like yesterday I started. So I kind of can really see exactly where this guy is coming from. So issue 4 right here really hit for me. And issue number 3 is another issue that I really enjoyed. Basically, there is two exact cities in parallel universes, and one of them is that city is, and their world is coming to an end through assorted crises and catastrophes or whatever, and they end up traveling to their other dimensional counterpart and the struggles that the populations have in merging together and being able to coexist. So issue 3 I felt was incredibly strong. I really enjoyed this one here. And then issue 5, this one did not do it for me at all. I felt like it was very confusing. One of the things that I didn't get about it is, like, I get that it's about a girl who is in a tremendous, like a cycle of violence, a lot of emotional and physical abuse. So I was able to gather that, and I like the artwork. A lot of really clever pages. Like right here, she's in her rehab, and they show her on the parallel bars, working to gain her mobility on the outside of the panels. You see there's a lot of these pages like this where she's the central figure, and the cycle that she's in moves around her, so to speak, like this. So it's a really cool effect, but it was I just found it really overwhelming. It, maybe if it had not been done on every single page, I would have gotten, it wouldn't have burnt me out so much. But after a while, I just, like this right here with the track, this is really cool. But when it's page after page after page of this type of storytelling, or this sort of page and panel layouts, it just gets to be too much. It got to be, I didn't even finish reading this issue. These pages like this were so overwhelming that I just, it was it started to feel like a chore. It started to feel like work to have to try and, decipher which order to read all this stuff in, what panel is next, what am I reading right to left, am I reading the other way around, so although I really enjoy the creativity of it, I just felt like it was done too much here in this issue. So this issue here did not do it for me, and issue 1 did not do it for me, but 3 and 4 did. One thing I'll say about this book is, with these, it's an anthology style book. Each issue is pretty much a standalone story. You might see 1 or 2 reoccurring characters in the background or something like that, but for the most part, it's all standalone. So it, like, issue 1 didn't hit, issue 2 didn't hit, but then issues 3 and 4 hit. So that's kind of hard to gauge what you're going to get. But they're all very much like a Twilight Zone type story, or original series Star Trek type story, stuff like that, where there's a morality tale kind of lodged in there. A look at our world through sci-fi, through the telling of these stories or whatever. But I will say that the difference between, like I use original Star Trek as a reference because, Gene Roddenberry and that version of Star Trek was notorious for telling, for having social commentary in those episodes, disguised as, alien races, or, the problems that the Enterprise ran into. What I will say, the difference between those episodes of Star Trek and Assorted Crisis Events is, I've read 5 issues of Assorted Crisis Events, and they are very bleak. There doesn't seem to be any hope. There's no happy endings, so to speak, and that's part of my issue. Why I don't really enjoy this book is because it's such a downer. It's very depressing and very bleak. And I like social commentary in my stories, and I enjoy quality sci-fi, but I like there to be just it doesn't even have to be sunshine and rainbows at the very end, but just give me a little bit of something. Just give me a smidge of hope, a smidge of a glimmer of hope and truth, and something like that. But there's none of that in any of these issues that I read right here. Nothing. So for that reason alone, I have a real big problem getting involved into this. But I know I am in the vocal minority of people who do not like Assorted Crisis Events, but quite a few people do. So if you like hardcore sci-fi and you like anthology type books, one and done style issues where you don't have to have continuity, you could just drop in and out, then try Assorted Crisis Events. It's really all the rage right now. I believe the first 6 issues are out, and they should be having a trade paperback coming out for that sometime soon. So next time you're in your shop, pick it up, give it a shot. You might end up being super depressed, but it'll still tell a good story. So till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.